Here's my take on how NFL superstar Chad Ocho Cinco handles his money.
Do me a favor. You have your phone?
Yeah, I do.
Google my net worth real quick.
I love that. The net worth says, I don't know,
5 million.
5 million?
It says 5 million.
Net worth 5 million?
That's what it says?
Yeah. We're going to get handed the phone here. All right, so Mr. Ocho Cinco has a lot of commas in his bank account, and I see something upwards. I'm not
Wait,
going to
let
get
me
the
see
right
that.
numbers, but a lot of money in his bank account. Chad,
So what does it say?
do you want to say the number?
Yes, okay.
I mean, you just got $15 million casually sitting in your checking account.
Okay, but I have a question. So how can someone explain to me, where does your network, where does it come from?
All your assets, all your different...
Everything, yeah, all your
Everything, right?
assets.
So why would it be that low? Do they think I spend all this money? Do they think I fall into stereotype?
I would think that
No,
would be
Chad,
it.
Chad, mine says
would think
86
so.
million. So it's inaccurate.
really?
Yeah, it says 86 million.
It's a great example of how the education around net worth and the public perception around net worth is totally out of whack. Your net worth, we're talking about your assets minus your liabilities. Assets include cash in the bank, it includes your house, it includes the value your car has, any investments, retirement, portfolio, that kind of stuff. If you were to take everything and liquidate it down into cash, how much is that worth minus any debts you have? So your house isn't just worth that, it's worth that minus whatever mortgage you have on it, and that's how it balances out. So that's your net worth. And this is an example of how public persona and the perception on especially famous people is just so off base, because we don't know necessarily what kind of debts he has, and we can kind of guess just based on how much he makes, how much typically people spend. My biggest takeaway from that is that he doesn't necessarily know what his net worth is. If he's really just looking at his bank account and seeing how many commas are there, then that's a surefire way to end up later in life and realizing you had less working for you than you really did.
It was extremely cheap. And obviously you mentioned the jewelry,
Yeah.
For what? The watches, for what? What time is it? It's okay, I'm sorry. What time is it, please? What time? 6:21? How much that cost?
Nothing.
Time is free. Why am I paying for it? You telling me a watch is $200,000. People love to say, oh, it's an investment, blah, 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 whatever. Time is free. I'm not paying for it. You mean if I can get something that looks like it, the real thing, knowing I already have money, I'm going to get the replica.
I just don't wear
Because
it.
what are you going to tell me? What are you going to say?
Right.
I shop at Claire's with a black card. What are you going to say?
That's fascinating. I love the illustration of shopping at Claire's with a black card. And what he's talking about is a high-end exclusive Amex card with like $1 million limit or something. It reminds me of Shaq and how his favorite store, Walmart. Favorite foods, not caviar, is chicken wings. And in the story of Shaq taking his shoes and walking away from his deal with Reebok in order to come up with his own brand, just because a mom outside of a shoe store just really laid into him and said, how can you sell shoes for this price? You need to be selling shoes that any kid from the neighborhood you grew up in, or any kid that you would want to aspire to be you, to be able to afford. And so he's struck up a deal with Walmart, and the rest is history. He just walked away from this Reebok deal.
Make enough money I can fly
private?
Yeah.
Shh. I ain't flying private. Spirit. Put me on Spirit. Exit row. Window seat. That's all I need. Long as I get from point A to point B. I don't need private. Athletes more so. If you can get to a point in your career where your name becomes bigger than anything you can purchase, there's your value.
Wow.
My name itself, Ocho Cinco at one point, even still to this day, is bigger than, why am I driving a Ferrari? Why am I driving a Rolls Royce and I'm Ocho? Oh, we talk about jewelry and watches and chains. Never bought real anything when I was playing. Never. What was the point? I went to Claire's.
So all you do
Yes, for what? What am I doing it for? The women don't deal with you anyway because of who you are.
Flying Spirit is not my preference, but you know, I love a good bargain. And I think there's a lot of ways that you can take your pride and set it aside in order to be able to really live the life that you want, not just today and not just next year, but 10, 20, 30 years down the road, be able to have a life that no one imagined. And people wonder, how do these millionaires, how do they make and keep so much money? Well, it's these simple habits. It's their perception on, why would I spend so much on that brief experience when I could have this on down the road? It's that classic example of a $1 soda now is really costing me $88 in retirement. That's one of those things where if you find yourself trying to chase after the unattainable value, the reality is that a lot of times what you see in magazines, what you see on TV, is that people look like they're shopping at Tiffany, but they're actually shopping at Claire's. And if you swallow that pill and realize that a lot of it's just a facade anyway, that they're not necessarily living and driving around daily driver in a Bugatti, but they're renting it for the weekend just so they can have the clout. Once you realize that, it really pulls the veil away, and you're able to look at where your money is going and the true value of it for you in your life and in your reality and your 2 feet on the ground and the challenges that you're going to experience today and tomorrow.